friends! Welcome to this week's installment of Flute Tip of the Week. Sorry that this one has come quite late. I was out of town for the first few days of the week, and this is really the first chance I've had to just sit down and do something other than emails and try to plan where in the world I'm gonna be in the next month. There's a lot of flights! Why am I always on airplanes? It's okay, it's actually my favorite part of being a musician. I love my airplanes. Thank you, no one can bother me there. Don't email me, I won't email back. So, without further delay, here is the second video installment of Flute Tip of the Week. Often think of the reason why you chose the flute and why you love what you do. Never lose that. This is one of my most important tips, not even just for flutes, but for everyone, because this is something that can be easily forgotten. For people who are about to be on the verge of burning out, who have been doing too much practice for too long and are just losing the sight of why they wanted to choose music and why they chose this instrument in particular, it can get soul-crushing. You can start to feel like you're doing a job you don't really want, like you're doing something that's not gratifying or that you ever thought you would do when you were growing up. Back in the day, I wanted to be an athlete, an actress, and I'm pretty certain I wanted to be an astronaut at one point. I did go to space camp once, so, you know, little miracles. But I like to remind myself why I chose the flute, because I have gone through periods where I was very close to burning out and it was taking a lot of effort to get myself to practice. So let's get a little serious here. Cue the nostalgia music. When I was 7 and I was at the Glee Montessori School in Ottawa, a wind quintet came to my school for a kind of concert presentation outreach program. And I remember thinking, as soon as I saw the flute, I just thought, wow, that thing looks gorgeous. Like, what is this thing and how can I get my hands on one? And then I heard it starting to be played. And not only was the sound of the flute just so beautiful, but also the person who was playing it was pretty damn beautiful as well. I love you, Beverly. Don't ever forget that. I remember afterward going home after school and I was in the car with my mom and she said, hey, how was your day? And I was like, yeah, it's great, it's great. Can I get a flute? You can't have a flute. Why not? It's expensive and you're 7 and you're gonna forget about it tomorrow. Little did she know that I was gonna bother her every single day for 2 years to be able to get a flute. I got you, Mom. I got you. It finally happened one night when I was 9. It was October, it was quite dark, and I don't think it was raining. But if it was, doesn't even matter. It was dark. That's all I remember. And I was at my grandma's house, and all of a sudden, my mom comes through the door, and she has a flute with her. And I was just so happy. I was absolutely elated at this. I gave my mom a hug, but I barely even said anything. I just took the flute, I ran upstairs to my grandpa's den, and then I ended up working on it for a couple of hours, if I remember correctly. Then the next day, I go to my very first flute lesson, and it was the flutist I heard in the quintet when I was 7. Whenever I think about that, I just get so happy, and even talking about it right now just makes me want to pick up my flute and hug it. It's my baby. My baby. All that just makes me want to do is just keep on doing exactly what I'm doing for the rest of my life, because I love what I do. It's opened so many doors, I've met so many people, and I've traveled to more countries than I would have if I just kept in the academic field instead of doing something artistic like this. So again, that tip was often think of the reason why you chose the flute and why you love what you do. Never lose that. I want to hear about the reasons why you all chose your instruments. Tell me if you saw another kid playing with it and you wanted to take their toy. You just heard something on the radio and you became obsessed with it and you just started asking around. Or if you played another instrument and then decided, you know what, screw this, I'm playing the flute. Or whatever else you decided to play. Free world. I hope this tip was helpful. Again, this is a tip that I think is very, very important for any instrument or vocalist or basically any job that you have. Just always think, this is why I love what I do. Until next week, flute happy, and I will see you soon.